She hadn't played competitive basketball in 239 days. And the first thing Caitlin Clark did when she finally got onto that floor wasn't a shot. It was 3 assists in her first 3 touches. Just like that, Caitlin Clark walks into a FIBA qualifier and does something so absurd that statisticians had to go back through decades of international records just to figure out what they'd witnessed. 5 of them. 5 FIBA World Records, wiped out in under 20 minutes of court time during Clark's senior women's national team debut. Paige Bueckers was there, Angel Reese was there, and Team USA beat Senegal by 64 points. So let's talk about what those 5 records were, what Team USA coach Kara Lawson said about it after, and what it probably means for the next game. If you're pumped up about Clark's return to the court, then comment, "Welcome back CC record breaker" down below.
We've got 5 new players checked in for Team USA, and if you can hear the crowd, Caitlin Clark checks in to her first minutes as a senior USA national team player. There's a lot of fans here for Caitlin Clark. I see signs, I see Indiana jerseys, I see Iowa jerseys. One of the most influential women's basketball players that we've seen, and she's here right now getting her first minutes on FIBA International.
Most players coming back from 8 months off are tight. They're cautious, they're feeling out the game, trying to get their legs under them. So what was Caitlin Clark's headspace walking into a FIBA qualifier as literally the most promoted player on the entire roster? She said, "I thought I was going to be anxious, but I was just excited." That's it. That was her whole vibe going in. Let's talk about what those 239 days actually looked like. Clark's 2025 WNBA season got derailed by injury early, and then it was just months of rehab, training facilities, no competitive basketball. Meanwhile, FIBA and broadcast partner TNA were out here putting her face on everything. Promotional materials, tournament marketing, the whole package. That's a weird kind of pressure to carry.
Evan, just under a minute and a half left to go in the first. Billings up to Clark. Clark takes her first shot. And it's a 3, and it is good. That is Caitlin Clark's first bucket.
Clark didn't seem to buckle under any of it. Before the game, she said she'd been preparing for this for a really long time, and that she expected to feel hyped up and probably a little anxious, but in a good way. She also said, "The first game is the hardest, but once you get in kind of a flow of things, you figure things out." So she wasn't pretending there was zero pressure. She just wasn't letting it run her.
We'll take another look at Caitlin Clark's debut shot. In rhythm, comes off the screen, gets the handoff. And you're right, that very much was a rattler. Touched about every single inch of that rim before it went down.
The atmosphere around this game was already charged because it wasn't just Clark's debut. 6 players were making their senior national team debuts in the same game. Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese, Kiki Iriafen, and others all stepping onto that floor for the first time at this level. So there's this collective first-time energy running through the whole team, and Clark is in the middle of it, except she's also the one whose face is on the tournament poster.
The first feeling going to be like suiting up for the senior national team?
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Like, as a kid, this is what you grow up watching. So obviously I've watched a lot of really great players, and now I think it's kind of like going to be a pinch me moment. Like, this is kind of what you dream of, and obviously as being somebody that's played for 3 junior national teams, you know, not many kids that had that opportunity get this opportunity, so just super grateful.
Surreal. Even just holding the flag on my shoulders today I couldn't even describe the feeling, so I'm just super excited to represent our country and to play with some amazing women.
I feel blessed. I'm gonna be feeling real blessed in those first moments.
What's actually telling is how Clark framed her own role going in. She said, "This is a different stage. You're not going to come out here and be the star player. That's not how it's going to be for USA basketball." That's not something you say if your mindset is just, "I'm back, watch me score." That's someone who did her homework and came in with a specific plan. So the real question before tip-off wasn't whether she could still play. It was whether she could play at this pace, at this level, against a blitz defense after 8 months away, in around 19 minutes or less of court time. And after the game, once all of that had played out, Clark said something simple. "More than anything, it makes me happy that I'm super sweaty right now and I got to play basketball." She also said the game came to me pretty quick, especially when I got that first 3 to roll around.
Feeling pretty good at the dub.
And that question gets even more loaded when you factor in the decision Kara Lawson made about the starting lineup, because Clark wasn't in it. And after hearing about the 5 records Clark broke, it looks like Coach Lawson is eating her words. FIBA and TNA put Clark's face on every piece of tournament promotion they had. And then Kara Lawson had her sitting on the bench at tip-off. So let's talk about that, because it wasn't a random call. Chelsea Gray started at point guard. That makes sense on paper. Gray is a championship-tested veteran who knows how to run an offense under pressure. You can see the logic. But here's where it gets interesting. Senegal came out with an aggressive full-court blitz, and that starting unit had real trouble with it. Gray was pulled off the point guard position within 35 seconds. 35 seconds. De'Erica Hamby and Angel Reese were stepping in to handle the ball just to deal with the pressure. The starting unit couldn't find its footing.
You look at the assists there, Team USA has 30, and like I mentioned, 12 of those came from Caitlin Clark, they usually call Chelsea Gray the point guard, and they call Caitlin Clark just a shooter. They switched roles today.
Then Clark checked in. Her first 3 possessions, 3 assists. Not 3 assists in the first quarter. 3 assists in the first few touches. The pace of the game just shifted right there on the spot. That's not something you can really put in a box statistically. The whole team feels that kind of thing immediately.
Over to Plum. Plum hands it right back, and Clark off the Billings screen gets it into Monique Billings, and that's her first bucket.
And the difference in how Clark handled Senegal's blitz compared to the starting unit was night and day. Senegal's pressure scheme is specifically built to create chaos in the backcourt, to make guards panic and turn it over. Clark was turning those same blitzes into fast breaks. She was reading the defense before it could even set, pushing pace, and finding teammates in rhythm. The starting unit was surviving the press. Clark was weaponizing it.
I had a conversation with every player, one-on-one, not necessarily before the game, but in the last couple of days. But I told her, and you know, with Caitlin, you know, she brings this dynamic play to the offensive end. I mean, that goes without saying. And as much as she is dynamic as a scorer, she's one of the most dynamic playmakers in the world as well.
The Clark and Ryan Howard connection in particular was really hard to stop. Howard ended up with a team-high 21 points, and a big chunk of those came directly off Clark's reads. When Clark draws the blitz and kicks it, Howard is hitting threes. So now Senegal has to decide. Do we keep blitzing and give up threes, or do we back off and let Clark do whatever she wants? That's the kind of problem the starting unit wasn't creating at anywhere near the same rate.
I thought Caitlin's playmaking ability, you know, really kind of got us going. We got into a nice rhythm in that second quarter and scored a lot of points.
So picture this: the player on the tournament poster is coming off the bench, outplaying the starter by a significant margin, and Kara Lawson gets to the post-game podium and says the lineup and rotations are in fact-finding mode. That phrase doesn't come out of a coach's mouth when she's satisfied with how things are set up. Lawson also said Clark's playmaking ability really got us going, and that she brings this dynamic play to the offensive end as one of the most dynamic playmakers in the world. That's not bench player language.
So we just talked about her utilizing all the talents, the most talented team she's played on. So imagine being a dynamic playmaker, and then all of a sudden you're playing alongside all these other dynamic playmakers and finishers. And so I thought she toggled between, you know, the playmaking and the scoring really well tonight, and looked pretty comfortable out there. So I was proud of how she played in her debut.
Lawson also pointed directly to the second quarter lineup featuring Clark, Howard, Plum, Iriafen, and Billings as the group that took us to a different level. That lineup didn't have Chelsea Gray in it, but the starting lineup debate is almost secondary once you actually watch what Clark did to Senegal's defense, because that's where this game became something completely different. And while all of that was happening, the assists, the pace, the blowout, statisticians were quietly going through decades of FIBA records trying to figure out what they'd just watched. So after the game, someone started running the numbers. And what they found was the kind of thing where you check it twice because it just doesn't look right.
Call that
players
hockey,
at a time.
Hockey subs.
Hockey subs.
Kelsey Plum with her first. Caitlin Clark on the move, over to Billings. Billings on the left-hand side, off the glass, and how dangerous is Team USA?
Clark played 19 minutes off the bench. In those 19 minutes, she handed out 12 assists. Clark did that against a defense built specifically to create turnovers, and she didn't turn the ball over once in the first half. Not once. So before we even get to the records, just sit with that for a second. 12 assists, 19 minutes, 0 first-half turnovers, off the bench, first competitive game in 239 days. Are you ready? Because these aren't just most assists in a blowout records. They go across men's and women's basketball, across every country, across the entire history of FIBA qualifying competition.
High-level basketball.
Ryan Howard, back to Clark. Clark into Irvin, and Irvin off the glass, the ball movement.
Record 1. Most assists in a Team USA senior national team debut, men or women. Clark's 12 assists in her first game is the highest assist total ever recorded by any player making their debut for the United States senior national team. Any player, any era, men or women. Gone. Record 2. Most assists in any senior national team debut across all countries, men or women. So this one goes way beyond USA basketball. Clark's debut assist total is the highest ever recorded by any player debuting for any country's senior national team in FIBA competition. Every country, every debut, ever. Clark's got the record.
Here's Clark once again. She's got 8 points. She wanted to pull up for 3, but gonna share it with Ryan Howard, who puts up a 3, and that's her second of the game. Give her. Comes off the screen from Irvin, kicks it over to Clark. Clark behind the back crossover finds Ryan Howard. Howard for 3. And we said it, the connection between Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard has been beautiful.
Record 3. Second most assists in FIBA qualifying tournament history. Not just debut records now, we're talking about every qualifying game ever played by any player at any point. Clark's 12 assists ranks second all-time across all of that. One game, 19 minutes. Second in FIBA history. Record 4. Most assists by any player coming off the bench in FIBA history, men or women. And this one matters because she didn't even start. She came off the bench and still set the all-time FIBA record for assists by a reserve player. The bench record, men or women. Hers. Record 5. 8 first-half assists with 0 turnovers. The highest assist total in any half of a FIBA qualifying game ever played. Clark had 8 assists before halftime and didn't give the ball away once. That half alone is a FIBA record.
Caitlin is looking to share the ball, comes off the screen. A nice pass into Copper. Copper up and under, and what a finish for Copper, and what a setup by point guard Caitlin Clark.
But that's not all. Let's talk about why the 0 turnovers part makes everything else even more absurd. High assist totals usually come with some risk. You're pushing pace, you're making aggressive reads, you're forcing the game to move fast. That creates mistakes. Clark was doing all of that and still not giving the ball away in the first half. That's not just efficient, that's a different level of control. And this happened in her first competitive game back after 239 days away. Not a rhythm game, not a tune-up, a debut, off the bench, against a blitz defense 8 months removed from basketball. Senegal's blitz scheme is built to make point guards panic. Trap early, pressure the ball, force bad decisions, and Clark just kept finding the open person before the trap could even close.
The 5-in, 5-out substitution pattern, Danilo, what does that say about the depth of this team when you have Caitlin Clark coming off the bench?
That's an easy shot for her deep 3.
The deep 3 is like a layup for her, though.
Clark wasn't doing retreat dribbles and behind-the-back passes to be flashy. She was doing them because they worked. Every time Senegal sent 2 defenders at her, she already knew where the ball was going. Ryan Howard standing at the 3-point line, open, again, and again. Analysts watching the game said Senegal had no answer at all for Clark when she was on the floor. And that's not an exaggeration. She was turning their pressure defense into a fast break generator, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. Howard ended up with 21 points and 6 three-pointers. And the commentary during the game said it plain. Basically, all of Howard's threes came off Clark assists. So every time Senegal decided to blitz, they were essentially setting up another Howard triple. That's not a defense, that's a donation.
Being patient, find the right shot.
Caitlin Clark's got the ball over to Bueckers. Bueckers sets up the three, and it's nothing but net.
But that's not all. Clark also finished with 17 points herself, going 4 of 5 from 3 and 5 for 5 from the free throw line. One source put her true shooting percentage at 118% and her plus-minus at plus 35. She also missed just one shot the entire game. So she's doing all of this playmaking and still scoring at an absurd clip in 19 minutes off the bench. Monique Billings was quiet about it but effective. 10 points and 5 rebounds, doing the dirty work inside while Clark and Howard were getting all the attention on the perimeter. Paige Bueckers was fluid and versatile, making her senior national team debut look completely routine. And then there's Angel Reese.
Beating the defender and finding the right player.
Clark over to Billings, and Clark, although she's the NCAA all-time leading scorer, she is an assist machine. The offensive rebound gives the USA another chance. Angel Reese makes the most of it, and that's Caitlin Clark's 9th assist.
Reese made only one missed shot the entire game and pulled down 8 rebounds. Let's just sit with that for a second. One missed shot. Her debut stat line was almost flawless, and it came in the kind of role where you have to be locked in the whole time, setting screens, boxing out, making the right pass, not just waiting for your moment. She did it almost perfectly.
Yeah, let's take another look at this one. Angel Reese, strong to the basket. She was the leading scorer at halftime for this Senegalese team. She's got 5 points right now and 3 fouls, so something to look forward to. Can't be quite as aggressive as Monique Billings.
So picture this. 6 players making their senior national team debuts in the same game, and instead of it feeling disjointed or shaky, the whole thing looked like a coordinated, high-tempo system that just kept producing good shots. Kara Lawson has been talking about pace, depth, and unselfish ball movement as the identity of this team. And the Senegal game was basically the proof, a 110-46 final score. The defense was converting turnovers into fast breaks, shutting down half-court sets, and keeping the pressure on even after the lead was already massive. 6 senior national team debuts in one game, a 64-point blowout, 5 FIBA world records, and a head coach publicly saying the starting lineup is still being figured out. So what does all of this actually set up?
Paige finds herself down low, kicks it out to Caitlin Clark. Clark puts it up and nothing but net. Getting themselves prepared for the World Cup that they've already qualified for, but really not letting their foot off the glass on offense or defense as Caitlin Clark.
Let's talk about the generational piece first, because it's real. Bueckers, Reese, Iriafen, Clark, all debuting together in the same game isn't just a feel-good story. Kara Lawson is deliberately building toward 2028 with a roster that can run multiple lineups, play at different speeds, and doesn't fall apart if one player has a bad night. That's a specific kind of roster construction, and this game was the first time you could actually see it working on the floor.
Paige Bueckers.
Now here's the fair pushback. Senegal isn't France. A 64-point win looks great in a highlight package, but does it actually tell us anything useful about how this team performs against real international competition? That's a legitimate question. But here's where it gets interesting. What the Senegal game actually shows isn't really about the opponent. It's about what this offense looks like when Clark is running it at full speed. That ceiling is genuinely different. The pace, the reads, the way teammates are getting shots they can actually make, that's system stuff, not opponent stuff. And for Indiana Fever fans specifically, that's the part that matters most. The Fever's 2026 season is the next time that version of Clark is on the floor consistently, and the Indiana Fever's own Instagram was already celebrating it in real time, posting about her double-double showing in her senior national team debut. So the connection between what she did for Team USA and what it means for next season in Indianapolis, that's not a stretch. The coverage is already making it directly. So picture this for USA basketball going forward. Lawson has a decision to make about the starting lineup, and based on everything she said after the game, she seems to already know which way she's leaning. Clark running the starting unit, with Gray as a veteran steadying presence off the bench. That's what the performance is pointing toward. Lawson said that second quarter lineup with Clark took us to a different level. That's not an accident. After 239 days away, the question was never really whether Clark could still play. It was what she'd come back as. And the answer is a player who breaks 5 FIBA World Records in under 20 minutes while making every single person around her better at the same time. Bueckers is ready. Reese is ready. Iriafen is ready. Clark just showed all of them exactly how fast this thing can move when she's the one pushing it.
Guys, it's such an honor to wear my uniform, my jersey. I'm so happy. Just being able to take the women's basketball everywhere, go worldwide. I'm so excited. It's an honor to play for USA basketball because so many greats have played here and have worn the same jersey. So just continuing the footsteps and continuing the legacy of what women's basketball means.
Just a sense of gratitude and like appreciation for everything it took to get here. And since I was young, like it was just the highest honor to wear USA across my chest. So very excited, very anxious, and very, very thankful.
Oh my God, unreal, surreal. I'm just so excited. I don't even know. I'm like ready to see what the feeling is gonna be.
239 days, 5 FIBA World Records, a 64-point blowout, and Kara Lawson already signaling the lineup is changing. Clark said it herself. I've been preparing for this for a really long time. And it showed. She didn't just come back. She came back as the most dangerous facilitator in international women's basketball right now. And if this game is any preview of what's coming for Team USA in this qualifying tournament and for the Indiana Fever in 2026, things are about to get very interesting. If you're pumped up about Clark's return to the court, then comment, "Welcome back CC Record Breaker" down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.